Hi, I'm Chris Johnson from Work Visa Lawyers, and I'm going to be talking about the recent update of the allocations for the migration program year. There's been some big changes, and in that, we're going to have some winners and losers. So I'm going to go through and give a bit of a commentary on the winners and losers in terms of these allocations. So the biggest winner of all is the Skilled Independent Visa. In 2022, it had 6,500 places allocated, and that's gone up to over 32,000 places. This is a huge increase. It's already been reflected in the big invitation rounds that have been given out by the federal government. With that big number, it means there's still going to be a lot more big allocations to follow, and it's very exciting for anyone who's looking to migrate to Australia using a 189 visa. That means that you should be getting out there, getting your skills assessed and getting your English tested for an occupation on the 189 list. So the next big winner is the state nominated visa. That's gone from 11,200 last year to 31,000. This is the 190 visa, and it's state nominated and each state gets a certain allocation. The 190 is popular because it's straight to permanent residency. Another big winner is the regional visa, or that would be the 491. That's gone from 11,200 to 34,000. That's a big jump. The 491 is a state nominated regional visa. It doesn't apply to Sydney, Melbourne, or to Brisbane. But outside of that, the rest of Australia is accessible for the 491. That's going to mean there's a lot of people looking around for opportunities in some of the smaller cities and in the country locations. Another big winner is the employer-sponsored permanent visa. That's gone from 22,000 to 35,000 for this year. That sounds like a really big win, but there are some issues perhaps in reaching those allocations. There hasn't been any changes by the federal government to make it easier to get a permanent employer-sponsored visa. There are a number of structural barriers which are making it very difficult to get employer-sponsored visas. These include strict labour market testing requirements, the Skilling Australia Fund, which has to be paid by employers, and that even has to be paid by hospitals which are government run, and then they have to pay that Skilling Australia Fund to the government. So there's a lot of problems with the Skilling Australia Fund. There's also some demanding requirements in terms of skills requirements. For example, the 186 employer-sponsored direct entry visa requires 3 years of experience and a positive skills assessment. So there's a range of things in relation to employer-sponsored visas which probably need to be reformed. Otherwise, there'll be those allocations available, but it might be very hard for employers to put those positions forward and for there to be enough applicants that can actually reach those requirements. So now we can start considering, well, who are the losers in terms of the allocations that have changed? Well, the first one is actually a bit of a tricky one. It looks like partner visas are a loser. Previously, there was over 72,000 and that's been cut to 40,000. So that looks like partner visas are going to be in some real trouble in terms of getting processed. However, this is actually a bit of a misleading number. There's a little number 1 next to that figure, and then it says that that program is uncapped. What that means is that there is actually no limit on the number of partner visas that they can process. And so it's possible, and I'd say it's even likely, that the government will process a lot more than the reduced planning level that has been put forward. So hopefully there won't be too much of a blowout in processing times for partner visas. The Business Innovation and Investor Visa Program, or BIP, which is the 188 visa going to the 888, is definitely in the losing category. It's gone from having 13,500 places available in 2022 to just 5,000 available in 2023. This is a really big drop and will mean that it's more competitive to get a nomination for those types of visas. The visas affected include the business owner category, which is the 188A, the 188B, which is the investor, the 188C, which is the significant investor, and the 188E, which is the entrepreneur visa. Now, at the moment, there's only actually been just over 800 allocations given for this year. So even though we do have a big cut, there is still over 4,000 allocations that could be given for this year. So it's not a total disaster, but it certainly suggests that there is pressure on that category. I'm also concerned, based on this cut, that there has been the talk of potentially the removal of the significant investor visa altogether, and maybe that could be something that happens in the next year's program, the 2024 program. So there's certainly some worries in the business visa space. Another big loser in this process of allocations is the Global Talent Visa. The Global Talent Visa had an allocation in the 2022 year of 15,000. The allocation now for the 2023 year is 5,000. Now that is a very big cut. However, it's not as big a cut as it seems to be. Last year, it was only about 9,000 global talent visas that were actually given out. So they never really reached the 15,000 promised. This year, initially, there was going to be about 8,500 global talent visas. So that has been scaled back significantly to 5,000, and it is a concern. It is a big concern for those who already have an expression of interest in and they're waiting for a result. I think it's going to make the whole process of the global talent visa, the expression of interest, more competitive, which means it might be more difficult to get through. That said, there's still 5,000 available, which is a significant number. So I would say that the glory days of the global talent visa seem to be in the past. I can see a pattern of reduced allocations over time. What this might mean is that if you are looking for a global talent visa, which is a direct application for permanent residency, and it has been one of the fastest pathways, then maybe the opportunity for that is reducing, and maybe it should be something that you consider going for before the end of this program year. So before the 30th of June, 2023. Okay, so I've given a bit of a summary of the winners and losers in relation to the allocations of visas for the rest of this migration year, which will end on the 30th of June, 2023. I hope you found this useful, and I look forward to bringing you further updates in relation to Australian migration. Please like and subscribe and keep an eye out for more breaking news videos. Thanks for watching.